The first thing Mara saw was blood on the snow. Not a little blood. A long, dark trail of it stretched from the trees to her cabin door, half covered by fresh snow. The wind screamed so loud that Mara almost did not hear the knocking at first. But then it came again. 3 hard knocks. Then one weak knock. Then a man's voice. "Please, don't leave me out here." Mara stood in the middle of her small cabin with a rifle in both hands. The fire behind her cracked and spat, the windows shook. Outside, the blizzard was turning the world white. Nobody was supposed to be out there. Not a traveler, not a hunter, not even a rescue team. The storm had already taken the mountain road, and the radio had warned everyone before it went silent. Stay inside. Do not open your door. But the man outside knocked again, softer this time. "Please, I will die." Before Mara moves, please subscribe to the channel, like this story, comment where you are listening from, and share it with someone who loves emotional stories with secrets. Now listen closely, because the next thing Mara did changed her whole life. Mara stepped toward the door. Her fingers shook around the rifle. She hated that they shook. She had left the city 2 years ago because she was tired of being afraid, tired of loud voices, tired of men who smiled in public and became monsters behind closed doors. This cabin was supposed to be her safe place. Now danger was begging outside. Mara pressed her ear to the door. "Who are you?" she shouted. For a moment there was no answer. Then the man said, "My name is Elias." Mara frowned. "Where did you come from?" "The ridge," he said. His voice broke. "I fell. My arm. I cannot feel my hand." Mara looked down at the blood coming under the door in thin red drops. If she left him outside, he would freeze. If she let him in, he could hurt her. That was the choice. One life against her safety. Mara lifted the iron latch. The door flew open so hard that the wind almost threw her backward. A man fell into the cabin. He landed on his knees, covered in snow, one arm pressed tight against his chest. His hair was black and wet. His face was pale from the cold. A deep cut ran across his left arm, and blood soaked the sleeve of his coat. Mara raised the rifle to his chest. "Do not move." The man lifted his good hand slowly. "I won't." His eyes were not wild like Mara expected. They were tired, gentle, almost scared. That made Mara even more unsure, because pain could make a good man look dangerous, and danger could make a bad man look weak. "What are you doing on my land?" Mara asked. Elias swallowed hard. "I don't know if this is your land." "That is not an answer." "I was running." Mara's grip tightened. "From who?" Elias looked past her toward the window, as if the storm itself had ears. "I don't know their names." That answer made the cabin feel colder. Mara shut the door with her boot and locked it. The wind dropped to a low growl outside. The man stayed on his knees, shaking so hard that his teeth clicked. Mara pointed to the chair by the fire. "Sit." Slowly, Elias obeyed. Mara kept the rifle close while she grabbed a blanket and threw it at him. He caught it with one hand. When the blanket slipped over his shoulder, Mara saw something that made her pause. Around his neck was a small wooden charm. It was carved like a wolf. Old, worn, handmade. Mara had seen a charm like that before, but she could not remember where. The thought was there, hiding behind another memory, waiting. Elias noticed her staring and tucked the charm under his shirt. "My mother gave it to me," he said. Mara did not ask more. Not yet. She moved to the shelf and pulled down her sewing tin, clean cloth, and a bottle of strong whiskey she used for wounds. Elias watched her every move, like a man who had forgotten what kindness looked like. "This will hurt," Mara said. "I have had worse." Mara poured whiskey over the cut. Elias gritted his teeth, but he did not scream. His hand grabbed the chair so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Mara cleaned the wound and wrapped it. The cut was deep, but not from falling on a rock. Mara knew that right away. It was too straight. like a blade. You said you fell, Mara said. Elias looked at the fire. I did fall. After someone cut you? He did not answer. The silence told Mara more than words. Mara tied the bandage tight. Elias breathed out and leaned back. For one small second, his face looked young, not like a man hiding something, like a boy who had been tired for many years. That scared Mara more than his wound. Thank you, Elias said. Mara stepped away from him. Do not thank me yet. I still might throw you back out. A weak smile touched his mouth. You should. Mara blinked. What? Elias looked at the door. If they followed me, you are safer if I am not here. Mara wanted to ask who they were, but a sharp crack outside stopped her. Both of them turned toward the window. Something had broken near the woodshed. Mara grabbed the rifle again. Elias tried to stand, but pain pulled him back down. Stay there, Mara said. No, Elias said quickly. Do not go outside. Mara froze. The fear in his voice was real. Why? Elias lowered his voice. Because if they are close, they will not knock like I did. Mara stared at him. There it was, the truth, almost showing itself. He had not simply gotten lost. He had not simply fallen. Someone had chased him through the blizzard with a blade, and now those people might be outside her cabin. Mara moved to the window and lifted the curtain just enough to see. Nothing. Only snow. Only trees. Only the dark shape of the woodshed. Then she saw footprints. Not Elias's trail, new ones. They crossed near the shed and vanished behind the cabin. Mara let the curtain fall. Her heart began to hit her ribs. Someone is outside, she whispered. Elias closed his eyes, like he had expected this, but hoped it would not happen. Mara looked at him. Who are you? Elias opened his eyes. For the first time, he looked straight at her. I told you my name. No, Mara said. You told me one name. I asked who you are. Before Elias could answer, the fire popped loudly. Mara flinched, and that made her angry at herself. She had promised herself long ago that no one would make her small again. Not her past. Not this storm. Not a bleeding stranger. She pointed the rifle at him again. Start talking. Elias slowly reached into his coat. Mara raised the gun higher. Stop. I am not reaching for a weapon, he said. I have something. Use 2 fingers. Elias pulled out a folded piece of cloth. No, not cloth. A torn piece of old paper, damp from snow. He held it out. Mara did not take it. What is that? Elias's voice dropped. Proof that I did not come here by accident. Mara's breath caught. What does that mean? Elias looked toward the storage room door behind Mara. It means this cabin was not the first place I ran to. It was the only place I was told to find. Mara felt the room tilt slightly. Nobody knows I live here. Elias looked at her with sad eyes. Someone does. The words sank into Mara like ice water. For 2 years, Mara had lived with one rule. No one from the city could know where she was. No one from her old life could find her. She used a different name in town. She paid cash. She kept her curtains closed at night. She thought she had disappeared. But now a wounded man had come through a deadly blizzard and said someone sent him to her. Mara grabbed the paper from his hand. It was too wet to read fully, but she could see 3 words written in dark pencil. Find Maribel. Her full name, her real name, the name she had not spoken to anyone on this mountain. Her throat tightened. Who gave you this? Elias opened his mouth. Then came another sound, not from outside. From inside the cabin, a low creak. The storage room door moved by itself. Mara spun around with the rifle. The door was not fully closed. The wind from under the cabin must have pushed it. That was what Mara told herself, but her body did not believe it. Inside the storage room were old crates, tools, firewood, and things left behind by the people who owned the cabin before her. Mara rarely touched them. Most days she pretended the room did not exist. But now something white had slipped from a high shelf and fallen onto the floor. Mara kept the rifle in one hand and picked it up with the other. It was an old poster. The paper was yellow and cracked. The top was torn. The ink had faded, but the face was clear enough. A boy, about 12 years old. Dark hair, sharp cheekbones, the same sad eyes. Mara stopped breathing. The words under the picture were faded, but she could still read them. Missing child, Jonah Vale. Last seen near Northridge. Winter, 15 years ago. Mara looked from the poster to the man by her fire. Elias stared back at her. His face had changed. The fear was gone now. In its place was something worse. Recognition. Mara's voice came out small. You are him. Elias did not deny it. The wind screamed again outside, and from somewhere behind the cabin came the slow crunch of boots in snow. Then Elias whispered, Mara, if you found that poster, it means they are already here. Mara held the old missing poster in one hand and the rifle in the other. The face on the paper was a boy. The face by the fire was a man. But Mara knew. She knew the way you know a storm is coming before the first snow falls. The eyes were the same. The fear was the same. The secret was sitting in her cabin, wrapped in her blanket, bleeding beside her fireplace. Elias was Jonah Vale, the boy who vanished on Northridge 15 years ago. Outside, boots crushed the snow behind the cabin. Slow, careful, too close. Mara pointed the rifle at Elias again, but her hands were shaking. Tell me the truth, Mara whispered, right now. Are you Jonah Vale? Elias looked at the poster like it hurt him to see it. Yes, he said, but I stopped being Jonah a long time ago. Mara's chest tightened. Why did you lie? Because people who hear that name either want money, revenge, or silence. Another step sounded outside. Mara turned her head toward the back wall. Elias pushed himself up from the chair, but pain bent him forward. Mara, listen to me, he said. There is a loose board behind your flower shelf. Behind it is a small space. If you hide there, they may leave you alive. Mara stared at him. You came here and brought killers to my door, and now you want me to hide? I came here because your mother told me you were the only person left who might believe me. Mara froze. My mother is dead. Elias nodded slowly. I know. The room seemed to grow quiet, even with the storm screaming outside. Mara's mother, Ruth Bell, had died 3 years ago in the city. Mara had cried beside her bed and held her cold hand after her last breath. Ruth had been kind, but she had carried secrets like stones in her chest. Sometimes, late at night, Mara had heard Ruth whisper a name in her sleep. Jonah? Mara had thought it was only a dream. Now the dream was bleeding in her cabin. Before we go deeper, please like this story, subscribe to the channel, and comment where you are listening from. If you are driving or working while listening, stay with me because this secret is about to change everything Mara believed about her mother. A hard knock hit the back door. Mara jumped. A man's voice came through the storm. Open the door, Miss Bell. Mara's blood went cold. He knew her name. Elias whispered, Do not answer. The voice came again. We know he is inside. Give him to us and you can keep breathing. Mara looked at Elias. Who is that? Elias's jaw tightened. Calder Pike. Mara knew the name. Everyone on the mountain knew it. Calder Pike owned the logging camps, the mule teams, and half the stores in the next town. Men tipped their hats to him because they feared him. They smiled at him because they owed him money. Mara stepped away from the back door. What does Calder Pike want with you? Elias looked at the missing poster. He is the reason I disappeared. The back door shook under a heavy kick. Mara lifted the rifle. Elias moved closer to her, still weak, still bleeding, but his eyes were clear now. 15 years ago, Elias said quickly, I was 12. My father worked for Pike. He found out Pike was stealing land from families after storms killed their cattle and ruined their cabins. My father had papers. Proof. Pike sent men to our home. Mara's breath caught. What happened? Elias swallowed. My father hid me under the floor before they came in. I heard everything. Another kick hit the back door. Wood cracked. Elias kept talking fast. They killed my father. They took my mother. Then they burned the house and told the town I got lost in the storm. Pike made the poster himself. He made people search the wrong ridge. Mara looked at the old paper in her hand. The missing poster was not just sad. It was a lie. But why come here? Mara asked. Why now? Elias reached for the wolf charm around his neck. Because your mother helped me escape that night. Mara almost dropped the rifle. My mother? Elias nodded. Ruth Bell was a nurse at Pike's camp. She found me half frozen under a bridge. She hid me for 2 days. Then she sent me north with a trader and gave me this charm so I would remember I was not alone. Mara stared at the little wooden wolf. Now she remembered. As a child, she had once found a half-carved wolf in her mother's sewing box. When Mara asked about it, Ruth had taken it away with tears in her eyes. Ruth had not been hiding shame. She had been hiding a boy. The back door cracked again. Mara's mind ran fast. If Pike entered the cabin, he would kill Elias. He might kill Mara, too. If Mara handed Elias over, she would be safe for one night, but she would live with that choice forever. And Mara knew what it felt like when people looked away from pain because helping was dangerous. She had lived that pain. She would not give it to someone else. Mara lowered the poster and looked Elias in the eye. What proof do you have? Elias pulled the damp paper from his coat again. Your mother kept copies. She hid them here before she died. She wrote to me last year. She said if Pike ever found me, I should come to this cabin. The proof is in the storage room. Mara turned toward the storage room, the room she had avoided for 2 years, the room full of her mother's old boxes, the room that still smelled faintly of dust, pine, and things left unsaid. Another kick hit the door. A hinge broke. Mara had no time to be afraid. Can you stand? She asked. I can try. Then try. Mara rushed into the storage room. Elias followed, holding his wounded arm. Mara pushed crates aside, threw old blankets to the floor, and searched behind the shelves. Her fingers brushed wood, dust, and spider webs. Then she saw it, a small mark carved into the wall. A wolf. Mara pressed the board. It moved. Behind it was a tin box wrapped in oilcloth. Mara pulled it out and opened it. Inside were land papers, letters, a small journal, and a photograph. The photograph showed Mara's mother, younger and tired, standing beside a thin boy with dark hair. Jonah. On the back, Ruth had written one line. If this boy comes back, protect him. He is the truth they buried. Mara's eyes burned. For years, Mara had thought her mother left her nothing but grief. But Ruth had left her a choice, a chance to finish the one brave thing Ruth had started. The back door burst open. Cold wind flooded the cabin. Calder Pike stepped inside with 2 men behind him. Calder was older now, with a gray beard and a long black coat, but his eyes were sharp and mean. He looked at Mara first, then Elias, then the tin box in Mara's hand. His face changed. So the papers were real. Well, Calder said softly, Ruth's daughter found her mother's ghost. Mara lifted the rifle. Get out of my cabin. Calder smiled. You have 1 bullet ready, Miss Bell. I have 3 men. Mara's stomach dropped. 3? Then she heard a floorboard creak behind her. A 4th man had come through the front door. Mara and Elias were trapped. Calder stepped closer. Give me the box, and I will forget you ever helped him. Elias moved in front of Mara. No. Calder laughed. Jonah Vale, the mountain should have finished you. Elias stood weakly, but he did not step back. My name is Jonah, he said, and I am not hiding anymore. Mara heard something in his voice that broke her heart. Not anger, not pride. A boy finally speaking after 15 years of silence. Calder lifted his hand to signal his men. But Mara knew her cabin better than they did. She kicked the iron hook beside the stove. A rope snapped loose. A heavy rack of hanging firewood dropped from the ceiling. Logs crashed down between Calder and his men. One man fell. Another shouted. The front door slammed open from the wind. Snow blew in so thick that nobody could see clearly. Mara grabbed Elias's good arm. "Move!" They ran through the storage room and pushed open the small side hatch Mara used for hauling wood. The cold hit them like a wall. Elias stumbled, but Mara held him up. Together they pushed into the blizzard behind the cabin. "Where are we going?" Elias shouted. "To the old signal bell." The bell stood near the broken trail left from the old trading post days. Mara had never used it. No one had. But in storms, sound carried strangely through the valley. If she rang it hard enough, the nearest patrol cabin might hear. Behind them, Calder shouted. "There, they went out back." Mara and Elias ran through snow that reached their knees. Elias fell once. Mara pulled him up. Her lungs burned. Her hands went numb. The tin box was under her coat, pressed against her chest like a second heart. Then a gunshot cracked through the storm. A tree beside Mara split. Elias pulled Mara down. Mara hit the snow hard. For one terrible second she thought she had been shot. But Elias had covered her with his body. He was shaking from pain and cold. Mara looked at him and saw the boy from the poster. Not missing, not dead. Just waiting for someone to stop running from the truth. "Get up," Mara said. "We both go, or we both stay." They reached the bell. Mara grabbed the frozen rope and pulled. Nothing. The rope was stiff with ice. Calder's shape appeared through the snow behind them. "Mara Bell," he shouted. "Last chance." Mara wrapped both hands around the rope and pulled again. Still nothing. Elias stepped beside her. With his good hand he grabbed the rope too. Together they pulled with everything they had. The bell moved. Once, a deep sound rolled into the storm. Then again and again. The sound was huge, wild, and desperate. Calder raised his gun, but before he could fire, a loud voice came from the white darkness. "Drop your weapon!" Lanterns appeared through the snow. 3 mounted patrolmen rode in from the trail, drawn by the bell. Mara almost cried from relief. Calder turned to run, but his boots slipped in the deep snow. The patrolmen surrounded him and his men before they could vanish. By morning, the blizzard had weakened. By noon, Calder Pike was in chains. By evening, the tin box was in the hands of the law. The papers proved everything. Pike had stolen land, murdered Elias's father, and hidden the truth about Jonah Vale for 15 years. The old missing poster was taken down from the town wall, and a new notice went up. Jonah Vale, found alive. Mara stood beside Elias when he saw it. He did not smile right away. He just touched the paper with shaking fingers, like he was touching his own name for the first time. "Mara," he said quietly, "your mother saved my life twice, once when I was a boy, and once through you." Mara looked at the snowy street, then at the man who had knocked on her door as a stranger and walked out of the storm as the truth. "She saved me too," Mara said. Elias looked confused. Mara held the wolf charm in her palm. "I came to that cabin to hide from life, but last night I stopped hiding." Spring came slowly to the mountain. Elias stayed in town to clear his family's name. Mara stayed in the cabin, but she no longer locked every feeling outside. Elias came often to help repair the broken door, cut wood, and fix the old signal bell. At first, they spoke about small things, the weather, the fire, the trail. Then they spoke about harder things. Mara told Elias about the city, about the fear she had carried, about the day she decided she would rather be alone than be hurt again. Elias told Mara about the years after he vanished, about sleeping in barns, changing his name, and never letting anyone look too long at his face. They did not rush love. They built trust first, 1 cup of tea, 1 repaired board, one honest story at a time. And one evening, When the last snow melted from the roof, Elias stood by the porch and carved a new wooden wolf. This one was not small and hidden. It was strong, with its head lifted toward the sky. He handed it to Mara. "For your door," he said, "so anyone who comes here knows this house is protected." Mara smiled. "By a wolf?" Elias smiled back. "By a woman who opened the door when the whole world told her not to." Years later, people still talked about the night of the great blizzard. Some talked about Calder Pike and the secret he tried to bury. Some talked about the missing boy who came back as a man. Some talked about Ruth Bell and the brave thing she did in silence. But Mara remembered it differently. She remembered blood on the snow, a knock at the door, a poster falling from a shelf, and a choice to not let fear decide who she became. So when Mara and Elias finally built a happy home together near that same old cabin, they kept the missing poster framed above the fireplace. Not as a sad thing, not as a warning, as proof. Proof that the truth can survive a storm. Proof that lost people can still come home. And proof that sometimes the stranger at your door is not the danger. Sometimes he is the person who helps you find the brave part of yourself again,